So good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to another live in Laois programme. This evening, delighted to be joined by two of our trusty co-hosts, Trudy Carmody. Hi, Trudy.
Hi, John.
And Hannah Cahill. Hi, Hannah.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. And of course, we're joined, our guest this evening is Jacqui Crutchley. Did I pronounce that correctly?
That's me, John. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. Really great week so far. And now topping it up with meeting you.
Great, absolutely. Because I emphasized your surname because, of course, Crutchley is a very, very famous Laois name.
Yes.
Pat Crutchley, for example, famous sports person. But you're a Crutchley and originally from South Africa, Jacqui. Would you like to, for our wonderful viewers, trace your journey from South Africa to rural County Laois?
I sure will. And you're going to be even shocked that Pat Crutchley is my neighbor.
Oh,
isn't that amazing?
So the Crutchleys and the Crutchleys. It's like Do you ever get Pat's post by mistake?
Well, luckily, Adrian, our postman, is really great, but Pat has taken the delivery of my Nespresso coffee and forgot to deliver it to me. So a couple of weeks later, after shouting at Nespresso, they delivered another one. So it was awesome.
Right. So
that's
right.
Neighborly love.
Neighborly love. So you have him hooked on the espresso now.
Yes, exactly.
You're to blame.
So I landed up in lovely Laois 6 years ago, and it was, so my dad's originally Irish. My maiden name is Mulligan. So my dad, his father grew up in Cork and then went through to South Africa. And that's how I was born in South Africa, but I decided to bring my children to Ireland and let them grow up in Ireland and in Laois.
And in Laois, and in rural County Laois. Can we say where you're living, Ratheniska?
Yes, well, I'm Pat's neighbour, so everyone's going to know that.
Yeah, everyone knows.
They know where Pat stays, yeah.
Yeah, but it must be easy for you. I mean, if anyone's asking for directions, well, we live beside Pat.
Yeah, exactly. Or Mick Lillis for that matter. So yeah, it's easy.
Or Mick. Oh, you're beside Mick. Oh my God, you're surrounded by GA greats.
Yeah, exactly. It isn't it? Yeah.
And Jacqui, your business is called Masteri with Jacqui. Now, Masteri, everyone's going to be Googling this now. It's Masteri with an I.
That's exactly the power of I.
The power of I. What is your business all about?
Well, thank you for asking, John. So Masteri, and what I do is I am a personal development coach. So I take people through a 6-month process of building their self-image, building what they want out of life, and actually just helping them develop from being in a rut, not knowing where to go, knowing that life is better than this. And that's what I asked myself 3 years ago. I said to myself, there's got to be something more to life than bumbling along, driving down the M7 to Dublin every day, driving back from Dublin every day in that pensionable job that I was taking.
And so you took a leap of faith.
I did.
Is that fair to say?
That's exactly what I did. It's called a quantum leap in our world. And it's something that you know is right because you're using that inner guidance system, that intuition that we teach you about, and you take that leap. Because what people do is they bumble along through life, and you're making an effort to improve on a daily basis. But what we realize then is that we need to start thinking, and we keep, what happens is we become the masters, and that's where the name comes from. Masteri is becoming the master of all the power that we need to change the quality of our lives. But it already lies within you. So this way you're keeping your mind and your body and your soul healthy. And that's looking after your mental well-being as well as your physical health. Because mental health, physical health, it all starts with your thoughts. And I love the quote by Buddha that says, what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create.
Wow. And speaking of quotes, you have a wonderfully profound one from, of all people, Michelangelo on your website.
Yes. So, well, it's all about thinking, and this is where the program comes in, thinking into results. So I was trained by Bob Proctor.
Yes, and I have to jump in here because off camera, the minute you mentioned Bob's name, Hannah, your face lit up. So Hannah, jump in there now, ladies, talk about Bob. Why is he so special?
Well, I mean, I'll ask you that, Jackie, because I mean, I've seen The Secret in only the last few weeks, and I saw him on it, and the minute you mentioned it, I went, oh wow, like tell me about studying under Bob Proctor.
Your eyes lit up. Yes. So, well, I'm glad you mentioned The Secret, because a lot of people won't know, they know Bob Proctor, but they don't know who he is. And then the minute you mention The Secret, people say, oh, he's in it. He's one of the people in it. Okay. So Bob Proctor is known as the leading mindset and human potential authority. And he's been studying this sort of material for over 50 years, longer than I've been alive. So that's a good thing. So if you've read the book, The Secret, Bob Proctor's book, You Were Born Rich. And then he inspired people like Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Elizabeth Gilbert with Eat, Pray, Love, all those sort of, that's your thinking, you know?
That's just, it's so interesting. What would you call it? Just manifestation? Would you call it all just it's manifestation?
Well,
because
it's working with the laws of the universe.
Okay.
So you've got what we all know is cause and effect, or the law of attraction. But what you also have got to look at, there's other laws that you involved with, okay? So that are all building your manifestation at the end of the day. So it's law of rhythm, up and down, all right? And winter never follows winter. So if if you're having a bad time, you know that spring is coming and summer will follow. The tides, in and out, What's another beautiful law to think of? The law of polarity. Opposites, negatives and positives. What we have to look at with the laws is that everything just is. And I make it positive or negative.
Right. It's so fascinating. Like, how would you, okay, say there was someone in this lockdown trying to start, say, a big project, and they didn't know, they watch this show and they hear about these laws, and they say, how can I start using mindfulness and kind of manifestation and stuff to work in relation to this project I'm doing?
Beautiful, beautiful. So what I would say to the person is, it's really important that you calm your mind, Don't get bogged down by the big project. You work it out in little chunks. And I advocate for journaling, meditation, and gratitude. I think those are three things. If you start your day, every single day, with that sort of framework, then this is where the law of attraction starts to work. You get inspired, because to ink is to think. So with your journaling, while you're writing things down, things come to you. And this is where I'll talk about, you start using your higher faculties. And people say to me, what's your higher faculties? You know about them, you just don't understand the 6 higher faculties. Because what we do, we go through life using our 5 senses. We see things, we hear things, we smell, we taste, we eat the foods that we've been given for years and years and years, because we use our 5 senses. But what you should be doing is using your higher faculties. And intuition is my favorite one, because that's that gut feeling, your inner guide. And you know what? It's never, ever wrong. It's your immediate understanding of something, and there's no need to think about it. It gives you the answer, and your intuition arises as a feeling within your body that only you can experience. So listening to your intuition helps you avoid unhealthy relationships and situations, because that very first feeling is always right. But then what we do is we let our little voices talk to us. Oh no, don't do that. Oh, you're not good enough. And those type of things. So I'll just run through the 6 higher faculties for you to put it all together. So your first one that I look at is will, the ability to focus. And that's where meditation helps you to now focus on that project that you have. Okay. Then you work on your imagination. And a lot of the time, after we leave national school, we're told to focus, stop daydreaming. And this is where people like architects still use their imagination, because they want to build these beautiful buildings. But most of us, we bumble through life and we don't use our imagination anymore. Then we've got memory. And memory, so many people say, oh, I've got a shocking memory. No, you actually don't. It's a muscle. It's like going to the gym. I'm not going to get fit with one sit-up. I'm going to get fit with a number of sit-ups. And that's the same as your memory. You build it and build it. So I love the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, because he talks about just improve, learn one new thing every day. And if you improve by 1% every day, by the end of the year, you're 37% better. That's huge. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually huge. So build your memory. Then perception. And that's the beautiful, I love perception. This is your ability to look at things, look at situations, but from a different point of view. Not that tunnel vision that you used to, or asking certain people for advice. You look at it and think, what would Bob Proctor think of this particular situation, problem? And think about it from that sort of perception. Then your intuition, I've explained that, and your reason. And this is your ability to think. And most people don't think. Mental activity is not actually thinking. We have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And remember the quote from Buddha, what you think, you become, right? So of these 60 to 80,000 thoughts, how many of them are negative? How many of them are letting you down, dominating your mind? So those are your higher faculties: will, imagination, memory, perception, intuition, and reason. And when you start using those, that's when that project doesn't become so big and you start getting ideas of how to move forward. Did I answer you, Hannah?
Very profound.
That's fascinating. I was going to say, I know Trudy has some questions as well for you. She was wondering to ask.
So in that 6 months, what kind of results would I hope to achieve at the end of the 6 months working with you?
Well, let me just talk about fear for a second there, because fear and faith is the same thing. It's two sides of a coin, right? So I've got fear or I've got faith in myself. What are you going to believe in? The fear or the faith? And that is so beautiful. And people realize that if I have faith and I believe in what I can achieve, I don't need to have the fear.
That's so true. That really is so true. And you know, it's the fear that holds people back.
It's
but
huge.
It's those positive thoughts, like you said, all those thoughts every day. It's knowing and having faith in what you're doing. And why did you start to do this originally? What inspired you to do this? So what happened to turn the faith into fear?
Fear into faith.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, when you hit that brick wall, you just got to realize, flip the coin, and think, well, why did I start this in the first place?
Yeah. Well, why I started it was I was doing that 70 kilometers into Dublin every day, 70 kilometers out, thinking, "Oh, I can't do this for very much longer. I really can't do this." Winter was coming, and I was just like, "Oh, I don't want to do this anymore." And a friend of mine had told me about the Thinking into Results program, and my very first thought was, a personal development coach, you must be joking, that's expensive. And I was like horrified that she'd even mention it. And the more I drove into town or into Dublin and back again, I was like, okay, maybe I should just like have a sneak peek at what she does. Who's this Bob Proctor dude? Like you said to me earlier. And the book, The Secret, Hannah, had been on my shelf for 7 years and I hadn't even touched it. And it's amazing because when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And when you're ready for personal development, you use your intuition and you just know. So I phoned up the consultant that was the Bob Proctor consultant, and I said to her, okay, so tell me what do you do for me? What can I change? And she said, well, first of all, we're going to set some goals. Do you have goals? And I was like, yeah, I set New Year's resolutions like everybody. And you know that by the 13th of January, most New Year's resolutions have like gone out the window, right? And she said, okay, problem number one, New Year's resolutions are not great because you don't stick to them. I was like, yeah, I go to gym for probably about 3 months. She said, gym's not good enough. So she spoke to me about the different goals. So what the program teaches you is there's 3 different types of goals: A type goals, B type goals, and then C type goals. A type goals are what most people will set, but they know how to achieve it. And when they get there, it's like fizzle and pop, over and done with, not that exciting. It's like buying a new car or saving for that holiday. You actually know how to do it. And when you've come back from that holiday, really? What happened? B-type goals is that one step out of your comfort zone, learning a new language. It's not that easy, but you do it, all right, for whatever the reason behind it is. But C-type goals, these are your goals that you've secretly dreamed about your whole life. It is something that is your purpose, your mission, and it's designed to help you grow and stretch and become the best version of yourself. And this is where she spoke to me about that. And she said, what do you really want? And I was like, I don't really know. She said, okay, well, the program helps you to get there, helps you to develop that imagination of where do you see yourself? Because so many of us are stuck in this rut. And I love what John Maxwell says. He says, what's the difference between a rut and a grave? Just the depth. It's quite scary. It's so scary, isn't it? So together, when a client joins me, then we explore the programming, your inner programming also, because that's a big part of growth, is that little voice in your head. And it's generations. I mean, my programming comes back from grannies, grandpas, generations back. And one of my biggest learnings was my father used to say to me, money doesn't grow on trees. So you have money blocks. And that's the way they were brought up, you know, so you were brought up that way too. So it's about looking and understanding, what is my belief around money? What is my belief around relationships? What is my belief around eating and gym and working, you know, because that's what we look at. And that little voice that keeps telling you you're not good enough, or you're too old, or this is too hard, or you don't have the time, you don't have the money, that's holding you back. And looking at your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions so that they deliver the results that you actually want in life.
How much do you think we, generally speaking, I'm obviously not asking a personal question, how much do you think we carry from generations before? that holds us back. Or do you know what? Actually, no, rephrase that. Take out the holds back, because it could be positive or negative.
Yeah, absolutely. There could be huge, and we call them paradigms, but a paradigm is just a habit that you do every single day. But some people have got great paradigms, like if you are always early for a meeting, okay? That's a paradigm that is probably from generations back, right? So there are some great beliefs that you have. Where you want to work on is actually realizing, right, this is not serving me. So you look at your results, you work backwards on this program. So you look at your results and you say, I'm not happy with my financial situation. So how do I change that? And that's where you start opening your mind up to now, okay, what are my beliefs about money? What is my spending habits? Where did they come from? And then you try and turn that around for financial freedom. Yeah, exactly that. And one of the other lessons that we teach is trampling the terror barrier. And we spend a lot of time looking at what happens when you hit that terror barrier, because now you're changing and you're evolving and you want to achieve. But at a certain point, it gets so scary and you hit this terror barrier. Now, what people do is then they bounce back into what I call bondage, because then they start keeping, okay, this is too hard. It's not good enough. And that's why I hold your hand for 6 months, because how long does it take to change a habit? It's not the 21 days that people talk about. It's 3 or 4 cycles of 21 days to change your thinking. So, so that terror barrier, if you can just break through, you get to what I call freedom. And have you watched that video clip where Will Smith talks about jumping out of the aeroplane? He skydives. Isn't it amazing? Because he says, God placed the best things in life on the other side of fear. And that's that terror barrier. And you just got to get through it. But I hold your hand to get through it, which makes it so much better.
It is taking that jump, isn't it? And once you've taken it, then you realize, you know, there was somebody I was on with Suzanne Evans, and what was it? Apart from the way you do anything is the way you do everything. She was saying that if it's to do with the fear thing, and if you can break through having even financial freedom, or the freedom, and what it is not having the fear that if everything goes belly up, that you know you can do it and fix it all over again.
Yeah.
And when you get to that stage of having that much faith as opposed to fear, then it changes the way you do everything.
Yep. Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
sense?
Absolutely. And that's exactly it. It's looking at it and thinking, and always what you do, and going back to Hannah and that big project that you're thinking about, you know, you always put yourself at the results. I've achieved it. And when you're thinking about this particular area and you've got to make a decision, make the decision, because a lot of time, and this is another thing we teach in the course, is to make a decision, because procrastination is a decision not to make the decision. When you make that decision, you can actually, and you make it from the person that's achieved the goal, you know.
So if you can visualize you at that goal, then it makes achieving that goal much easier.
Yeah, but you celebrate the little wins on the way. So this is where the gratitude comes in. So practicing gratitude in the morning. I mean, there's so many scientific benefits for your mental health as well as your physical health when it comes to gratitude. So if there's one thing I can tell any of the listeners to do, just start by journaling and writing. I have about 20 things now that I write in the morning that I'm grateful for. And it just sets you up. It really does set you up.
What you ink, you think, Jacqui.
Yep.
That's my takeaway from tonight.
When you ink, you think. It's so true. It's
very good. It's very good.
2 questions. The 6-month program, is it one-to-one? Is it group?
So you do have one-to-ones with me, but it is a group session. Okay, so I call them tribes. So a lot of the time we don't have tribes anymore because, I mean, from our past, people grew up in tribes. And what is the saying? It takes a village to raise a child, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens. So I create tribes and you work together as a mastermind. Okay, so you bounce off each other. You go through this growth period as a group. And you can say, oh, I'm struggling. No, I'm not struggling. I'll pull you up. I'll pull you through, which is so beautiful. So it's a group session. We meet once a week. You then have one-on-ones with me also whenever you need. But you have access then to lessons by Bob Proctor. You have a workbook and a journal and a magic pen is what you get.
What's magic?
A magic pen.
The magic pen is what you ink and think with. So that's where
Very
you start
good.
writing your goals out every single day, living that achieved. So it's all about the mindset, because you've got to have that mindset because your thoughts, you ultimately, what you think is what you become.
The most dangerous weapon in the world.
Absolutely.
The second part of it is at the end of the 6 months, what would be different about me?
What would be different about you? You'd need a telescope, Trudy, to look back and see the achievements that you've done. So if you told me that you wanted X, I would get you X, Y, and Z by the end of 6 months.
Fantastic. So it would be unrecognizable.
Well, if I mean, on my website are some testimonials, and you can read about what people have achieved. Is absolutely incredible. So yeah, the program does it for them, but what you put in is what you get out.
For sure.
So you've got to be dedicated. You've got to want to invest in yourself, not only in time, but in the investment, and want to make those changes. You know, get out of the rut, get out of the grave, for heaven's sake, but make changes.
Yes, and I love the collaborative approach. I'm thinking straight away that a lot of state agencies in this country should adopt that approach.
Yeah, you're right, John.
Because, yeah, there's a lack again of collaboration. And I think with the post pandemic, that's the approach we're going to have to take.
Exactly. No, there has to be this. I mean, we've missed people, but my tribes have actually thrived because they've had each other, and we meet. I mean, one of them, we meet at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday morning. The other one's at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. And then I have another group that's at 7:30 on a Tuesday evening. So those are the timings that we work with. But
it's a commitment.
Yep.
It's a commitment.
If you want to achieve, you've got to be persistent, and you've got to have that consistency. It's a habit. Remember, habits are then where you become.
How many people typically is in each tribe? Ish.
Anywhere between 12 and 20.
Oh, good numbers.
Yeah. So that's what we call the mastermind, is then they start to bond.
Yeah.
And they start to bounce off each other, and the contacts that have come out of that. So business thrives too from that tribe.
Of course it does, absolutely. Tell me this, can I go backwards and ask Bob Proctor, how long did you study under Bob Proctor?
So I've been with him now for, when did I start? So it's going to be 2.5 years now that I've been studying with him.
And you're still studying?
Oh, Trudy, this is the addiction. You just don't stop. Yeah. So after thinking into results, there's lead the field. And then there's, I mean, you just don't stop with the books either.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've also written a program around a book called The Illusion of Money. And that's by Kyle Cease. And he talks about once again, it's that belief, because a lot of us have money paradigms and security paradigms. That's why I introduced that program. So once you've done thinking into results, you can then move on and do The Illusion of Money also.
So it's breaking down the barriers.
but it's an ongoing process. So this is where the levels of awareness come in. Okay, so once you've got to your individual and your discipline, and then your experience, and you're reaching for mastery, you keep learning. And there's always that, well, now that I'm here, I need to learn the little bit extra. Because we are under the illusion that our brain only operates at 10%. You know, we've got so much more than 10% in our heads. We should be using it.
Definitely.
Hannah, do you want to jump in there? Are you?
I've been reading a lot of books like The Secret and Manifestation and stuff like that. So
what's your favorite, Hannah?
My favorite, I love The Secret. Well, I know it's not really a self-help book, but I love The Alchemist as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I love that book. But yeah, like I think the course just sounds fantastic. You know, I do think that someday The Secret will be nearly taught in schools, you know, the laws of attraction and stuff like that. I do see that happening at some point, because I've yet to see someone who uses it where it doesn't work, you know, honestly, you know.
Yeah.
So
Hannah, you're so right. And when you look at the power of your subconscious mind, you know, and that it has the ability, and when you look at it, people take placebo tablets and they will themselves to get better. That's, you know,
yeah,
that's it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I
Your
think
thoughts?
The Secret is actually on Netflix.
Sorry, Trudy?
I think The Secret is actually on Netflix.
It is
actually, yeah.
You can watch it on there. There's actually a new one. I know there's a new one that was brought out, an updated version of it.
I actually saw that as well.
Have you seen that one, Hannah? I haven't seen that one. Okay.
Big fan. It's more of a story rather than kind of, you know, the premise of the original The Secret, like, but it's still good. They're both on Netflix. Like, you should definitely watch them.
Okay, I'll do that for sure. Yeah. I love there's Sonia Ricotti also. She's got a beautiful also documentary out about manifesting and your thoughts and how powerful they really are.
Yeah.
And Jacqui, we have your link on the screen there now for our wonderful viewers. If anyone's interested in getting in touch or wants to know about upcoming workshops and courses, what are the dates? The dates that they shouldn't miss out on.
The dates. So there's a course that will run pretty much every month. So you book a discovery call with me first, and then we see that we both can work with each other. So I'm going to be quite strict, you know. I need you to be on the calls every week, do your work. It's called the 20-20-20. Do your work so that you can improve. And so book a call with me through my website. Follow me on Masteri with Jacqui on Instagram and Masteri with Jacqui on Facebook also. But yeah, book a discovery call just to find out a little bit more, which would be perfect.
Perfect. That's like I was saying to the ladies before you come on the call, you're just so positive. And I love how I love how you sign off on your emails.
With love and gratitude, absolutely.
Is that a deliberate thing? I
feel it, John. I really do feel it. Yeah. And
it's a lovely way to sign off.
Thank you. Even on invoices, you know, when you get an invoice or you get a bill, write thank you on it. It's so beautiful, you know, because instead of having that, I've got to pay another bill, thank you, because you've achieved something with that. So be grateful.
Yes. Absolutely. That's a great attitude.
I'm absolutely passionate about what I do. The changes that have happened in my clients' lives are it's incredible.
Yeah, and I feel that you're in the right field at the right time. No, I mean, your field is always needed. But I think especially now with the last year we've put in, some people are looking and they're going, really, what I was doing before, really, I was underselling myself. I need to.
Most people do not live their full potential, unfortunately. And they've got such huge opportunities and possibilities. And it's about using their imagination, one of their higher faculties.
Absolutely. So teachers, any teachers viewing, don't tell your kids in class to stop daydreaming. It should be on the curriculum. It should be timetabled. It should be timetabled.
Daydreaming time. Well, they are bringing mindfulness into the schools, which is incredible. I'm so.
Are they really?
Yes, a lot of schools have got mindfulness in it.
That's
Being
amazing.
present, breathing, so vitally important. Stop. Always on a mental health side, when people are having a panic attack or something like that, you ask them 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things that you can touch, but do that to yourself. And just think about when you walk outside, I'm so grateful for the fresh air I'm breathing. Listen to the birds. It makes such a huge difference in your day. If you just stop and appreciate the little things that we do have. It's been a hard year for a lot of people. It's been a very hard year, and their mental health has taken a knock. But this is where I found myself in a very dark place 3 years ago. And that's where I decided, okay, I can either go left or I can go right. And I chose Bob. So that's a good choice, Hannah.
Yes. We all need to choose Bob.
Absolutely.
The gratitude thing, what you said there now just highlights how the gratitude doesn't have to be huge.
No, Trudy, it's the tiniest. One of my big things is thank you for the fresh air that I'm breathing. I mean, privileged enough to live in Ratheniska, and it is fresh air. But when I walk outside and I go and feed the chickens and the kittens, and I just think to myself, I'm so grateful to live in a secure environment, because as you can hear, my leash accent that I'm working on here from South Africa is, it wouldn't have been safe for me to walk outside at 6:30 in the morning, but I'm so grateful for that every single day. But just to listen to the birds that chirp, stop and listen to that. Make it a habit. Make it a habit.
Make it a habit. Make it a habit. Yeah. So, Jacqui, thanks for your time this evening. That was a shot of positivity that our viewers needed.
Lovely.
You could come on every week and cheer us all
up.
I
don't mind. We could have a little snacks every week where we can.
Absolutely.
What's your Instagram account again?
Sorry, Trudy?
What's your Instagram account called again?
Masteri, Masteri _with _Jacqui, JACQUI.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we have all the links up on the screen there now, and that's marvelous. Jacqui, thanks again for your positivity and your time this evening. To my wonderful, you're very welcome, and to my wonderful co-hosts, to Trudy and to Hannah, thank you very much again this evening. Only for you.
Thanks so much.
Anytime.
And if you want to speak about Bob, Hannah, I'm more than happy to give you more.
We'll set up a call.
Give me
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It'll be the start of another tribe, Jacqui.
Yes, I love it.
Love it already.
You'll have a Hannah. You'll create a Ratheniska tribe.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it as well.
I also, what I forgot to say is I also run masterclasses. So 3 or 5 day masterclasses. So if it's a 5-day masterclass, I've run a couple of them, but some people can't do 5 days in a row, and it's 5-hour slots. So from 7 to 8, So I'll try a 3-day and see how that works.
Yeah.
It's so much I can give, because I cover the laws of the universe, and then meditation, gratitude, journaling on day 1. And then I go through paradigms and those limiting beliefs. And then I look at the difference between, which we didn't talk about, the inner self-esteem and your self-confidence. So self-esteem, self-confidence, and building that up. And then decision-making is another big part of what people struggle with.
Big time.
Yeah.
Personally.
We do. But so, yeah, I will post when I've got the next masterclass also, so we can keep.
And I will share that within the group then and see if I can get people in the industry.
Trudy. That would be awesome. Yeah. And I'll see Hannah on it for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. And yeah, thanks for that, ladies. That's really uplifting. Wonderful, wonderful.